Hi, I'm John, and welcome to Dice Paper Miniatures. In today's episode, I'm actually going to cover part 3 of my Chaos Pact Blood Bowl team by Willy's Miniatures. So while I've been doing a number of live streams recently and creating a number of live clips, I've also been making progress on my Blood Bowl team in the meantime. Now, as it turns out, I had to go back and do a base coat on all of the miniatures on the team. This took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it is what it is. In the following, I've edited down a number of clips that I took while painting the team. So, the team stands at about 15 models that I've made progress on out of the full 20. However, the clips I edited down mostly just focus on 11, and then at the end of those 11, I have the other 4 remaining just in kind of a rotational view just to see the progress, but I didn't actually record any of that footage while I was actually painting them. That's okay. For Chaos Marauder number 1, for the flesh colors we have Rhinox Hide, Xandri Dust, and Reikland Flesh Shade. The flesh tones are mostly done. So in this particular segment, we're looking at mostly the armor colors. For the armor colors, we have Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. These will be the base colors that I apply. They'll have a shading as well as highlights similar to what I did with the flesh tones as well. We're touching up the base colors right now. If you saw my previous episodes, I talked about how I had to paint these with 3 colors just to get them tournament and league legal. In the process of doing that, a lot of the base colors wore off. So I'm going back and touching everything up. That's basically what I'm doing with all the miniatures in this particular episode. Going back and touching up the flesh colors or the armor colors. And then in the next episode, we'll see more values added and possibly just completed miniatures by the next episode. For Chaos Marauder number 2, the flesh colors include Rhinox Hide, Xandri Dust, and Reikland Flesh Shade. For the armor colors, we're using Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. These are basically the same colors that we saw in Chaos Marauder number 1. I just mixed up the Xandri Dust to be a slightly lighter mix, so the tonality of this flesh is a little bit lighter. But similar to Chaos Marauder number 1, the armor bits, the Mephiston Red and the Abaddon Black have been kind of worn off, so I'm going back and touching all those elements up. For Chaos Marauder number 3, the flesh colors include Rhinox Hide, Xandri Dust, and Reikland Flesh Shade. In this particular mix, the Xandri Dust was dialed back some. Essentially, more Reikland Flesh Shade was used to make it not quite as light as we saw in the Chaos Marauder number 2. And of course, the armor colors are Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. This particular miniature has less armor. It's definitely more skin based, but there's still enough to identify him on the team with his black and red color scheme. For the Chaos Marauder number 4, the flesh colors include Rhinox Hide, Xandri Dust, and Reikland Flesh Shade. This mix has a little bit more Reikland Flesh Shade, but I also went back and highlighted it more with the Xandri Dust, so he has a little bit more muscle definition in this particular miniature. For the armor colors, of course, is still Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. Again, this will be a theme for all the miniatures. But ideally, by the next episode, I'll be past the base colors of all the other little bits and armor elements, like the skulls, the chaos symbols, and I might go ahead and paint some of the metal bits, pull in some either gunmetal or metallic colors, as well as I may pull out one of the skulls to be kind of a traditional kind of white coloring. Those types of details I'll determine towards the end of painting each individual miniature. Overall, though, I've been really happy with how the humans have turned out. They're the furthest along on the team by far. By the next episode, again, I hope to have some models done. I'm not sure if I'll have all of them done. Hopefully I'll have the skin tones done on the large monsters. That really sets the tone for these miniatures since they're largely at least 50% bare skin, so once I get those skin tones done on the other miniatures, that will really help kind of guide me with my other decisions on what I want to do with some additional textures, possible blood effects, as well as how I want to finish out the bases too. I have some ideas for the bases, but until I see what those look like with the other models more further along, it's still a little open-ended. I didn't want to restrict myself on this particular project since this is me getting back into painting more seriously again. I wanted to kind of let the overall experience kind of guide me, not necessarily go in with too much of a preconceived idea of what I think they should be, but I think they're turning out, for the most part, pretty good. For the Dark Elf Renegade, the flesh color is a little different than the humans. The base color is Ion Rack skin. And then, of course, for the base colors for the armor color is Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. This particular one didn't require quite as much touch-up as the humans did, but I did feel it required an even layer for both the red and the black regardless. For the Goblin Renegade, the base color for the flesh tone is Averland Sunset. And then for the armor colors, Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. Now this particular model will probably look dramatically different once I start adding the shades and highlights to the skin tone. I actually don't expect it to look all that yellow, but that's the base color for now. It'll either go a bright green or kind of a pale green, if you will, with just a little bit of yellowing. For the Orc Renegade, the flesh color is Wa Flesh. Again, this is just the base tone, and will likely end up being a very dark, almost dingy looking green once I add in the values. And then for the armor colors, we have Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. Again, like with all of these miniatures we've seen so far, these are just the base values to touch up all the elements that have maybe worn off during League play, and they really needed another layer. The colors were pretty muted, and I wanted to get those boldened back up before I do any shading and highlights. For the Skaven Renegade, the flesh color is Skaven Blight Dinge. Again, that's just the base tone. I haven't decided if I'll go lighter or darker on his color scheme. But then the armor colors of Abaddon Black and the Mephiston Red. For the Chaos Minotaur, the flesh color is pretty straightforward. It's all Abaddon Black. Which is the same color we use for the armor colors, Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. Now when I actually add the values to the flesh tone itself, I'll probably have a little bit more of a warmer, almost like a chestnut brown going on with the skin tone. Whereas the leather bits and the fur bits of the armor will be more of a cool black, a little bit more of a blue tone. For the Chaos Ogre, the flesh color is Mournfang Brown. This is basically just the base coat over the original Zenithal shade. And then for the armor colors, Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. I haven't quite decided yet if the flesh tone will go light on this particular miniature, or if I'll keep it more of a darker scheme. And lastly, for the Chaos Troll, the base color for the flesh tone is Stegodon Scale Green. And the armor colors are your Abaddon Black and Mephiston Red. I'll likely do a modeling effect around the back and shoulders of the troll, and it contrasts with that blue, which will likely end up a deeper shade of blue. I'll probably have a lighter shade of orange for that mottling color for a little bit of contrast for this miniature. There's a lot of skin tone to play with, so I may even pull out some of the scarring effect just for some additional interest. And for the next episode, I hope to have most of these finished. That might take a little while, so I might not have another one of these types of episodes in a couple weeks or so, but I'll continue to do the live streams on Twitch. So if you haven't yet, please consider going over to my Twitch channel and following Dice Paper Miniatures there. If not, you can always catch a recording of those captured as live clips in future episodes here on YouTube. And if you haven't yet, please consider hitting the subscribe button on the YouTube as well as that notification bell. This really helps the channel get out there as far as the YouTube algorithm goes, as well as consider sharing this content. As always, thanks again for checking out this episode. I hope everyone is doing well, be safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.